Tina was unlike anyone else in Professor Adrian Miller's class. At 25, she was older than most students, but it wasn't her age that drew his attention. It was the quiet poise she carried, the way her smile could soften even the sternest lecture. From the very first day, he found himself lingering on her thoughtful questions, noticing how her pen would hover over her notebook as if she was writing not just to remember, but to understand. Coffee after class. It was after a Tuesday lecture when Tina approached his desk. The rest of the students had already left, their chatter fading down the hallway. "Professor Miller," she said, her voice low, "I was wondering if you might help me with the last paper. I don't want to get it wrong." He hesitated for just a heartbeat, feeling that subtle pull again. "Of course," he replied. "Do you like coffee?" Her lips curved into a smile. Who doesn't? That Friday they met at a little coffee shop near campus. The air smelled of roasted beans and cinnamon, and they sat in a corner booth where the afternoon light turned everything gold. They spoke about literature, favorite films, and the places they dreamed of visiting. At one point, her fingers brushed his as she reached for the sugar, and neither of them moved away. Lunch and lingering looks. 1 week later, Adrian suggested lunch at a small Italian place a few blocks away. Over pasta and wine, the conversation deepened. Tina shared stories of her years before returning to college, and he admitted that teaching was both his passion and the thing that sometimes left him feeling alone. When they left, walking side by side, she glanced at him with that same warm smile. "You're different from how I imagined professors would be." "And how's that?" he asked. "You listen," she said simply. And for some reason that meant more to him than he expected. Romance in the classroom. In the days that followed, something unspoken bloomed between them. During lectures, he'd catch her watching him with an intensity that made his words falter. She lingered after class more often, their conversations stretching into the quiet between lessons. Once, while students shuffled in for the next period, she passed him a folded note, just one line written in her neat handwriting. "Can't wait to see you later." The library kiss. It happened late one evening. They had arranged to meet in the library to go over her research. The building was nearly empty, the warm glow of the lamps casting shadows between the tall shelves. They sat close at one of the wooden tables, leaning over the same book. As they read, his hand brushed against hers. She didn't move it away. If anything, her fingers lingered. When he looked up, her eyes met his, steady and searching. "Tina," he murmured, and in that moment, restraint felt impossible. He leaned in, and their lips met, soft at first, then with a kind of tenderness that carried all the quiet longing of the past weeks. She breathed his name against his mouth, her hands resting lightly on his chest. When they finally parted, she smiled faintly, her cheeks warm. "I think I've been waiting for that," she whispered. A new beginning. From then on, the air between them was charged with something new. They still met for coffee, sometimes lunch, sometimes stolen moments in the quiet corners of the library. In class, their eyes would meet, and an entire conversation would pass between them without a word. It was a delicate balance, one they both knew they had to protect, but every glance, every touch, every whispered conversation made the risk worth it. And somewhere between the shelves of old books and the quiet hum of the classroom, they had found something rare, something neither of them was ready to let go of.